when they arrived in what is now England and started conquering the Anglo-Saxons and subjecting them, what they found was that they might have called him Odin, but they called him Woden, and all of their mythology was the same. These fellas were Christian now, but the old gods, which they all still like, some people still followed and recognized the old gods, but Christianity had taken over with the Anglo-Saxons. I believe I'm pretty sure. Yes,
Yes,
I believe.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when they got there, these fellows are Christian, but the story that the Vikings are telling the Anglo-Saxons is recognizable. My grandparents told me this story, you know, and so they were related. They did have similar language. They did have um, shared common history, but they just were separated by about, 300 or more years since they had diverged from the same place, maybe even 1,000. I'm not suggesting that one singular tribe of Dan went around themselves and conquered the whole world. I mean, they just kept spreading from there. They are the judge and the serpent over and over. They went from there. And then they got dispersed by the Assyrians into the whole world. But Samaria still remained. There still remained Israel in the land of Samaria. They didn't get not all of them got dispersed. They stayed and became Samaria, most of them, like the sick and the maimed and the halt. And but the Assyrians carried a bunch of them off and put them into service and such.
Yeah. And that's right there too. Is one of the hot button topics I get in with people. I love history. I love reading history, and I tell people all the time. People come to me like, Joseph, you're crazy. History proves the Bible's false, and I'm like, what are you talking about? History proves it's 100% real. What are you talking about, right?
The Bible is the most historically accurate document on the face of the earth, bar none. I'm sure of it. Academia used to not believe in the Hittite Empire, or thought that the Bible had like inflated those people to suit their own political claims in the Old Testament. But no, y'all didn't know that the Egyptians were talking about the Hittites because you assumed they didn't exist until they dug it up and found it, right?
Yeah.
4 major civilizations collapsed from 1400 to 1150 BC in the Bronze Age collapse, all around the Mediterranean.
And I was talking to somebody yesterday that Psalm 22, I think it was, is when David was writing about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. That was 500 years before the Romans were even crucifying people. He was writing it down. So what do you?
And that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Tel Dan confirms that they excavated Laish, or the Tel Dan, after when somebody said it didn't exist, somebody said, I bet it does, went and dug it up and found it. Sure enough, it's there. It confirms the reign of David and Solomon. They're on the gold coins they found there and such, right? Inscriptions and such they found referencing David and Solomon. And if Judges is 18, look, this is 1400 BC, that Judges 18 turns out to be stunningly accurate to the point that you can prove it for a fact. Yes. That confirms all the history written after 1400 BC and Judges 18 onward. There's no reason to question what's written before if that's so stunningly accurate, in my opinion. They dig it up, they find it, it is there. And so all this was happening while David was king and Solomon was king, and Solomon's sons were kings after, the scepter doesn't depart from Judah after that, but the kingdoms did split and war with each other. There was 2 different kings. I don't mean to just take the conversation off, but I really want to focus on all the things that I have told you so far in this conversation, and how everything I have said is something you can go check and look up for yourself. You don't have to take my word for anything. Okay. Right. Everything I have said is, I don't have some mystic knowledge that you can't have too. We can all have it. All right. And be sure of it. So I've told you nothing but facts. And I learned that lesson early on the internet, not to say things that I can't back up with like sure evidence,
they'll let you know, right?
They will. And then you'll be forced to defend yourself. And if you can't defend a claim, then man, you're looking sorry now.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't say things I ain't sure of. Not to say I'm right about every single thing. I can learn, I might be sure of some things I'm wrong about, but then I'll get sure after I find out.
Yep.
Keep all that in mind in regards to, and also I don't make any money doing this. This is not my career. I do something most people don't even know my job. I'm not even going to tell y'all here. Just I work with my hands and I make money, and I have this time to do because of that. And so I do all this for free, so that way I keep it pure, so I don't have an influence. Nothing's influencing me to say all this stuff. I just do it because I believe it and I love it, and this is my life's passion, is to find the truth about things and then show you what I found.
And
That's all I'm doing.
I want to point something out to all of our watchers and my followers here, everybody watching this. Doc Holliday almost has 1 million followers on TikTok alone, and I've never seen a video of yours not crack up 30 or 3,000 videos in like 45 minutes. When it pops up on my phone, by the time I refresh it, literally 1,000 other people have watched it. I haven't watched this since we booked the show because I wanted to come in clean. But he is absolutely right, Enigma. He's leaving a lot of money on the table for passive income on that. And Doc, I think that's one of the reasons why God's blessing your word to spread so hard, if I'm being honest.
That's why I do it, man. That's why I'm doing it, is because I take it from, like, Paul took it as a gift that he worked with his own hands. I'm not suggesting everybody has to do it that way, but it's definitely something that I want to remain blameless in for the specific purpose of, I don't gain anything from this, and why would I mislead people for some reason? Like, there's nothing for me to gain. I want everybody to go read and look up what I'm saying, so you don't take my word for it. I said all that to say this. Now I'm going to tell you about Satan's short season. A lot of people are going to hate what I have said about Tartaria already. All right. There was an ancient worldwide civilization before God's great flood. It is the great flood that all the ancient civilization fell down from. Okay. So there are the remnants of that all over the world on every continent. You got the pyramids and all that, because same as skyscrapers. And I got this from Bright Insight. This is an excellent example. The first skyscraper popped up in Chicago in like the 20s to 40s or something, or maybe it was 18. I don't know the exact date, but the first skyscraper popped up in Chicago. After that, you see skyscrapers pop up all over the world, and they are all based on that first original design in Chicago, even as different as they get and as different as the cultures that influence them are. It's all based on the same concept of the skyscraper that first happened in Chicago. So when you're talking about pyramids all over the world, it's not as if one kind of people built all of those, right, under one sort of government.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.